It's currently about 6:21 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Clock on the computer reads 6:21 a.m. The Wi-Fi shows it's hooked up, connected. Shows it's connected. It's currently February 1st, 2020. February 1st, 2020. Currently have an audio file going. Audio file 2001331_002.wav. It's currently at 12 hours, 24 minutes, and 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. Currently located in the most southwestern room, the house that I've been staying at. Most approximately southwestern room, the house I've been staying at, serving the town of Windsor, in the county of Sonoma, state of California, United States of America. Alright, so I'm going to be trying to quickly do memories I've had around the house, or stuff I remember from happening around the house. Okay, it's kind of early in the morning. I'm trying to do it before people in the house wake up, and I'm trying to do it without too much talking, because my head's kind of I don't know how much the talking, how good the talking is for my head, blah 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 all day long. Okay. So the couch that's in that room, the room with the TV, the big screen TV, when the kitchen flooded, it was sometime between 2014 to 2019, sometime during 2014 to 2019, maybe approximately 2016, 2017, the floor got damaged, the hardwood floor in the kitchen, and that area got damaged. There was I think the sink, the dishwasher, something happened where it flooded. It didn't really flood, but it leaked a lot of water onto the floor, all throughout the room, I think. Or not all throughout the room, but through most of the room. So I ended up tearing up the floors and replacing the floors. There used to be parquet flooring. Now there's straight hardwood flooring. Anyway, the couch that's in that room was at some point right here, running this way, kind of. I think it might have been out here. That was and I was sleeping on it, and there was a time I was sleeping on it. I was on my back. I think my head was this way. So I was laying down on it, trying to sleep. I think it was dark out, and there was a depiction. I was being harassed. There was a depiction of Efren from Seafood Brasserie. I used to be a busser when I worked there. It's a restaurant in Santa Rosa. Sometime around 2007 or something, or 2006. But anyway, sometime during 2014 to 2020, I was lying here, and I either woke up or was being harassed and was already awake. I felt my right cheek vibrate, kind of not violently, but it was an excited vibrating, and then I think it vibrated, might have tightened a little, or kind of the whole cheek itself tightened a bit, or freshened or tightened, tightened, I think. Then there was a depiction of Efren saying something. It was either of Efren or someone who looks like Efren said something to me I'm not sure what he said. It might have been "Don't acknowledge what we do," but I'm not sure about that. I'm not certain about what he said. I was eating a lot of chicken pot pies and Marie Callender's microwave chicken pot pies and Stouffer's microwave lasagnas, frozen microwave lasagnas, because the kitchen was all torn up, so we had a lot of frozen food. also a lot of Oliver's, like enchiladas. Oliver's is like a supermarket in Sonoma County. They have like enchiladas in the cold case you can buy. So I was eating a lot of those at the time. There was like the table that's over there was set up along that wall, like kind of like underneath where the clock is right there. This room was all like kind of like crowded with furniture. There was a pod, like a U-Haul pod, in the driveway. Had like stuff moved in there. At some point, I sat, sometime during like 2014 to 2020, I sat like right here, and where there was like and there were depictions of like I think like Dave Chandler and like some of my family possibly, or some of like my original like biological family, like in this part of the room, depictions of them. What else was there? They used to like, there were a lot of depictions of Crystal with the Brooklyn tattoo saying like, you can't sit here or something. Or like they used to harass me. They said like, this is where like your parents sit or something. This is like where like your dad and his friends sit. And, like it's, they were making a bunch of like, they were trying to make me like, as far as like, make me red, like knowing how to do like advanced tech with like criminal people who like do criminal things in advanced tech. So kind of knowing like the ins and outs of how to go around with them and like how to deal with what they do and like their usual formats for doing stuff like through advanced tech. There was some of that, and there was also some just like general like intimidation and threat and like attempts to like make my head about like what they do and how to respond to them, and there was a lot of depictions of Crystal with the Brooklyn tattoo. It wasn't even so much depictions, it might have been, but it was mostly depictions of Crystal with the Brooklyn tattoo doing this sort of thing. I say that, I'm not sure how that was going. Anyway, I remember like not being able to sit here, not being able to like sit on either of this stuff because I get harassed. I get harassed because then they'd start like screwing about like we're red. Like you gotta. I'm not sure what they screwed about, but it was something sort of like kind of like frustrating at least. Like I'm just trying to like sit on a couch in the room in my house and like getting screwed and like harassed about like this is where we sit, this is what we do. It might not have been this is what we do, but it was something about like this is where we sit. You can't sit here, or something like that. General harassment, like in that. Yeah. Anything else happened here? The computer used to be underneath the, like kind of against the wall underneath the clock, like this desk that it's on was sitting over there. We'll go on there. That's like where it was, like sort of, it was there part of the time during 2014 to 2019. I'd be getting harassed in my room, and then I'd like jump out of my room and like keep them from harassing me, like by inducing thoughts, communicating my thoughts. I try to distract myself by like putting my mind to something different. So it was right around the time like the Transbay Terminal and Salesforce Tower was being built in San Francisco, what else? They were doing building California high-speed rail. They're also building the SMART train in Sonoma County. It's like a passenger commuter train to Marin. So I was like, I'd look that up on the internet, look the news on the internet, look it on YouTube, watch a lot of videos on YouTube about trains. Anyway, it's kind of just supposed to be a distraction. Now I know, like, yeah, it's spent a lot of time, like, just trying to, like, get my head anywhere else to avoid the harassment. And then there was some question about whether I was harassed by that would be chew, I think they refer to it as. I was doing chew or Jew, something, and sometimes I go out and chew. It's like, anyway. Alright. So that's like something I do to like try to escape the harassment. And then I think possibly I'd get harassed by some of the people who'd like start knocking when I did that. So people would start communicating to me. Or depictions of people would like start like doing things to me or communicating to me. Part of it I think I'd like kind of go along with maybe. I might have gone along with some of it, I'm not sure. Just because it was, didn't seem as bad as like the harassment that was going on in my bedroom or like different parts of the house or like when I wasn't like deliberately trying to escape the harassment. And yeah, I think there might have been depictions of some of like the smart train people harassing me. Possibly even more than that. And then a lot of times, even when I wasn't looking at the Chew stuff, I think like those people would like, wasn't looking at like the trains on the internet stuff. Those people might have come around and, so long ago, I'm not certain right now. I have to like recall a little longer. So I think at least like the smart train people might have harassed me, possibly even more. So I'd be like, they'd start communicating, and I'd say like, stop communicating to me, and then they'd keep communicating to me. I had to like say it over and over and over again so many times. And then sometimes they relent, or sometimes like I like rip what they rip. Talking to them, like go do something else. I'm not certain about that. Anyway, they wouldn't stay. Anyway, I'm actually not certain about that last part. Maybe I'll think of it. I'll recall it more thoroughly at a different time. Okay. I think the dining room table was somewhere else when the kitchen was all flooded. So like this area was kind of the dining room table might have been here already, might have stayed here. Anyway, so we had like those blue moving blankets that they use to move furniture. We had a bunch of those in the house because like I think someone bought them like at the U-Haul store when they went and got the pod, put a bunch of furniture in. So those were like kind of around the house, and I'd like use those to. I was using those to like kind of like when I was, and it's the time I used those to sleep there, and I think at like different times. Anyway, there was a depiction of there were depictions of what's her name. Emily Foley. She's went to high school in Sonoma County and was like was like either the grade below me or a couple grades below me or a few grades below me. She knew, but I think she hung out with my brother Daniel. But anyway, there were depictions of her like communicating to me. It was like they were doing a lot of like it was like there was like kind of like a depiction of like an ongoing party going on, through this advanced tech, and like the setting might have been like I was sort of like anyway. I was like attending the party, but everyone else goes in. Everyone else goes all the way in, and I just I'm like I got like stuck out kind of. So I'd be like kind of like flailing around the house, like dealing with this harassment, telling people to stop, and they just like kept rolling through me, kept going. So I'd be like trying to sleep there. And I'm not sure I think she might have harassed me. I'm pretty sure they all harassed me. Almost certain they all harassed me. So I'd be like trying to sleep, just like trying to find a place to sleep, and people would they start harassing me. I have to say, like, I think I was scared that like if I like did anything with them, like actually engaged with them, that they'd like threaten to do like those little like batteries, like threaten to operate that technology to kind of like zap me or like cause me to batter me in some like way. If I like thought of what they were doing, what they'd done, or like if I acknowledged what they did. There's also some concern that, like, about who was observing me, or who would be observing me in the future. So if I have like thoughts about these people in the future, when I'm talking to someone who like, or I'm either talking to someone or being harassed and battered by someone who's like, or I don't want to know about like what I'm doing, like, or I don't want to know about these people who, yeah, I guess who harassed and battered me, but like might not have. Well, I'm pretty sure we're harassing me. I'm pretty sure we're harassing me. I'm not certain about that right now. Pretty sure. Yeah. You know, you could do. There's probably like worse people, like people who might like give me a harder time than some of these people. So, you know, there's some like issues about privacy. So, you know, I was all like harassed and like kind of like spun out and like things were rapidly happening. Okay, so there was that. There were depictions of Sean Kevill sitting like right here. So like I couldn't go to these places and like sit down and like just like relax and not be harassed. Like every location like would like cue like some sort of harassment. And this was all day long for like multiple years. Like without a break, there might have been. Yeah, without a break. It was like distressing, you know? Mm-hmm. Without a break, you know? So it was, these are just like random memories I've had, you know, over the course of 4 years. So even if I'm not like describing deliberate, like, if I'm not describing like assaults and batteries, I'm just trying to like convey an idea of like, kind of like that I remember like actual things occurring like in this house that seem kind of like strange and like through advanced technologies. So even if I'm not stating like specific like assaults and batteries, like I'm still like trying to like kind of like convey like what's been going on in the past few years, or what had been going on in the past few years. So the stuff with like sleeping there with Emily Foley, there was like suggestions of like sexual activity, you know, like you're gonna like, hang out with them a little and like I'll talk to you. You know, I'm not sure. It's difficult to explain. I'm not sure because like it was like this person's gonna like take you or something and like. Well, so I was like very distressed trying to find like a place to like sleep without being harassed. So I'm not sure if Emily Foley like sexually harassed me in that, specifically with that instance over there that I was talking about earlier. But anyway, I'd like try to like sleep somewhere and I'd get harassed. It's going all day long. They'd even like keep me up for like long hours. So, you know, there was like, yep. They keep me up for long hours. Long hours. They like wake me up in the middle of the night, and it's like continuous and ongoing. There's a lot of like, there were like threats that people were like spending like savings of mine, or savings intended for me, or possible savings intended for me. Anyway, so I couldn't go anywhere without being harassed. It was very like, yeah, you know. Okay, there are depictions of Sean Kevill hanging out right here, like sitting on the floor. So I'd like try to like sit on the floor there, and then there'd be depictions of Sean Kevill harassing me, where I'd have to deal with that. So like I couldn't get any like peace or rest from the harassment. So, and it was like invasive harassment. Like I'd be like trying to escape it, and they just like keep after me. I'd be saying like stop, and I was like noticeably like distressed and like trying to escape it. So standing right here, there'd be depictions of Jake Scholl's mother would like start talking to me. She was like right around this spot. So if I'd like stand here, or get stuck standing here, like there'd be depictions of that person talking to me. And then I'd find it like harassing, you know, it's like, and there's also a lot of like possibly sexually suggestive stuff. You know, possibly, I get like harassed about, or no, excuse me. I think I get harassed about like thoughts I've had, or like, think about the dildo. Yep. I get harassed about this stuff. I like try to like, be trying just to stand somewhere. Be trying just to stand somewhere in the house and start getting harassed. I was saying stop. But anyway, Jake Scholl, we used to go to like grade school together. I think possibly parts of junior high. But at some point he may have mentioned that like he found like a glass dildo in like his mom's like drawer, like his mom's friend's drawer or something, or his friend's mom had a glass dildo or something. And like it was like a big deal to me. I thought it was because I was like in grade school, you know. But anyway, there was something about like how I had remembered that and like would like walk around like thinking about it, and like maybe they found that like frustrating or anyway. So I think they might have harassed me about that, and also I think I might have gotten like sexually battered while I was standing here sometimes. Like they'd like induce an erection or like start screwing or something. However, I'm not certain about that part. I'm not currently certain about that. Okay. Okay. So there was a time when the kitchen was like, when the floor was all torn up. You see the floors look kind of nice. Kind of like, used to be parquet flooring. So there was a time like up there, there's a crack on the ceiling you can kind of see, like right above those two lights. It runs that way. So there used to be like kind of like a drop ceiling there. So like ceiling like dropped down like this, and then kind of that. And this didn't used to be here. It used to be like a continuous counter all the way to like somewhere around here. So all this was like torn up. Like the floor was torn up. It was on like the plywood underneath that was exposed. And this wasn't here. It was like an open area. There was the old counter was over there, or one of the old counters was over there against that wall, kind of. You could like go behind it, sort of. Anyway, times when I'd stand right here, they'd harass me about like being like in front of the oven. So it'd be like oven is like coven, like a coven of witches. Always females harassing me, so like stand by the oven, you know. So I get harassed there. There are depictions, I think, of Crystal with a Brooklyn tattoo, like possibly around like this area. So I'm not like describing how it was like harassing and like battersome and like tormentuous. I'm not really like remembering that right now. Anyway. But it was tormentuous. It was tormentuous because I was like trying to escape like these people like harassing me and communicating to me. And it wasn't like they were just sort of like coming up and talking to me. It was like, you know, there's something about it that was like very like torturous. I know I don't recall right now, but I remember it was torturous. It was torturous. This is kind of important part. Jeez. Maybe I'll try writing it. I think like thinking while I'm talking, my head feels like it's kind of like hollow a little bit right now. So I think that's like some kind of indicator of what all the talking's doing in my head, and like all my technological accompaniments, my neurological processes and stuff. Anyway, okay. So there's that. They used to harass me about food I eat. they're like, if you eat that, we're gonna, someone's gonna come along and talk to you. And I tell them, stop harassing me about the food I eat. I even used to say, stop batting the food. They say, like, if you eat something, that's what that do. So stop batting me. Anyway. And I used to also say, stop harassing me about the food. How did I phrase it? It was something about, like, stop harassing how I eat. Or stop harassing me about what I eat. So I'd like, I'm a resident of the United States. I'm a citizen of the United States. I should be. I think it's like it would be illegal to harass me by like saying that like something happens when you eat that, and regardless of someone saying stop harassing me, if you eat that, I'm going to harass you. So I'm pretty sure that'd be illegal. Like if there's like an apple and someone says I'm going to harass you if you eat the apple. You say, stop harassing me, I want to eat the apple without being harassed, then I assume it'd be illegal to harass the person for eating the apple. There was a lot of that. A lot of like Carly Clements, like depictions of Carly Clements, like harassing me. And like, I recall there were depictions of Carly Clements tormenting me during 2014 to 2020. In like a torturous fashion. So torturing me. And the thing about the apple is just, one of many things that or the thing about food is just one of many things that I was harassed about. I'm pretty sure there are also depictions of Rachel Tucker Coxon harassing me about that. It's been like the attitude in my house of my parents for a long time, or like presented attitude that like, like food in the refrigerator is free for anyone to eat. Like it's, like they don't like, there was one time like about like pomegranate jam or some kind of jam that my mom made, like, but this was like prior to 2010, where I had like, I'm not sure, I think she might have said like don't eat it, and I ate the jam. I kind of like disregarded her and ate the jam, but that was like one occasion I think prior to like 2011, I think. But generally, and like kind of markedly so, it's sort of been like my parents are like sort of like, yeah, if there's food in the fridge, you're welcome to eat it. Like unless they say something like it's for a party or something, or like I just baked these cookies and I'm taking them to a party tomorrow. Please don't eat them. Like something like that. I won't eat that. Or I don't eat that stuff. But like, anyway. Oof. There are also depictions of the refrigerator. The old refrigerator was right here sometime during 2014 to 2020. Those harassments about the food occurred 2014 to 2020. At least 2014 to 2019. And I'm like already getting harassed. I was already being harassed like all day long. And then I like try to like go to the refrigerator to eat something to like kind of like get some relief from being harassed. Like, cause like eating the food would like change my mental state. Because I'd be thinking about the food I'm eating and like the sensations of the food. And I think also the people harassing me might have done something different while I was being harassed, or while when I'd start eating. But I think a lot of times they'd like continue to do what they had done while I was eating. In addition to maybe like adjusting a little bit, but I think they'd like push right on through me eating. But I'm happy because instead of like lying in bed just being like, I'd be out here eating and like doing something like active, so it was a little easier to deal with. Part of it, yeah, and it was a little easier to deal with that way. It was. Yeah, at some point while I was and also while I was when the floor was torn up in here, sometime 2014, 2020, I was like, there were depictions of, I was standing like over here, and like there were depictions of Nicole's lock like head, so as though she was like standing like beneath the floor, but her head was sort of like above the floor. Might even have been so like just like her head was cruising around like the floor.
Um, but it would be like chomping at my heels, like she was going, like her head was doing that, and it was like kind of chasing me around. And I'm not sure why I was like running from like the visual like portrayal. I was like already like kind of like spun up and like harassed and like distressed and like you know, maybe not like that, but it was sort of like kind of like pulling someone's hair out, someone like kind of like had that aspect to it. It had parts of aspects to that, and I'd go from different locations and like they'd start harassing me. I'm like, sometimes like the thoughts would be like, what can you do but listen, you know? I'd say like stop. Yeah, I think I said stop. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said stop. But it was like within the period that I was saying stop to everything. It was like anyone interacting with me like over the course of a few days could like tell that this guy's being harassed, he's saying stop, he's like distressed and like trying to escape or trying to like deal with being harassed. It was obvious. I think it would have been obvious to anyone like even like observing me, even if they weren't like aware of my thoughts or like had like some sort of like weren't like privy to my thoughts. When I was saying stop out loud, too, I was like moving around. I was like noticeably distressed and like trying to like escape by moving. So I found that distressing. They harassed me. There was something in the newspaper about like the Spinster sisters or something. Something in the local newspaper about the Spinster sisters. It's like some sort of like, I think it's like a restaurant or something in downtown Santa Rosa, or was a restaurant or something like that. But I remember reading something in the newspaper about it and then being like harassed by people, like even just for like having thoughts about like what I read in the newspaper. I think I was like harassed, possibly like there were depictions of Bridget Fenton, possibly. And I think it might have been around the time that I think there might have also been depictions of Nicole Walker. It was like kind of around the same time. I think it was around the same time. Yeah, that's like when I saw like her head like jumping at my heels or feet, something like that. Okay. At some point, like the old counter that used to be run this way, that like this thing replaced and like went all the way here. Used to have like a tile top, and I think it was like wood cupboards. It was fixed to the floor. But anyway, after the flood or the water damage to the floor, 2014, 2020, it got like moved over here, over by like by the fireplace, running like. Running like long ways, like this way. And then at some point, there was a newspaper on top of it, and I was being harassed, and like, just like harassed around the house. So I'm like, sometimes I'm like, just like stopping and like looking at something, like, just at anything to like try to distract myself, you know? And I was wearing sweatpants at the time. This one instance during 2014, 2020, I was wearing sweatpants at the time. I remember reading something about marijuana, like in the newspaper. I think it was reading something in the Press Democrat, and like I was sitting like, how was I sitting? I was doing like this, you know. Sorry, I gotta take a break. I'm gonna come back and finish this. Alright, I gotta stop the video real quick. I gotta do some. They're pushing on my gut, so I gotta like. Yeah, sorry. So it's about, the clock currently reads 6:55 a.m. The Wi-Fi shows that it's connected. Currently located in the house that's located at the same address, same street address that's listed on the California driver's license issued to me. It's currently about 6:55 a.m. on February 1st, 2020. Anyway, end video.